Hi, I'm Phil from Waypoint Overland, and you're listening to Random Waypoints. All right, so here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Random Waypoints podcast. We'll be doing an episode every week. So like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss an episode. This week, we have reoccurring special guest, Candi Skehan, and of course, my co-host, Michael Ladden from Drive the Globe. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Good to be here, Phil.
All right, so it was suggested to me to do a little speed round thing.
We're going to start out with a speed round.
So we're going to pull out the phone here and look at this list of questions. And the rule is not too much thinking about it. When I hit you with the question, whatever pops up at the top of your head. So we're
Not many rules. We're not good with following rules. Just to
so
this.
Since you're our guest, we're gonna start with Mike to give you like a pathway.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is
Pressure.
top 5 favorite states.
Top 5.
Top 5.
In order from 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
It doesn't have to be in order.
Okay.
Just your top 5.
Of all time? Like all
Uh,
time I visited, not just, in the last two years.
all time.
All time. I would say from a beautiful standpoint, I would have to go with Alaska, Utah, Montana, Vermont. 5. Wyoming.
Wow. Good list. All right, shoot it, Candi. Let's go.
I have to go with my home base, Nevada. I gotta shout out to that. So Nevada, Tennessee, Alaska. Alaska's amazing, and I love Wyoming, and I love Montana.
Well, we're sharing some there. How about you, Phil?
Well, it sounds like our list is identical. Vermont, Wyoming, Montana, Alaska, and I would say southern Utah.
Wow. Our agreement amongst the three of us is pretty tight on these.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Okay, so what's next on our
Hit
speed
us
round?
another one.
Speed round. Top 5. Now we're gonna make this a little easier. Top 3 list of top 3 least favorite states. It's on you, Candi. We start with
Great.
you.
We're gonna. Candi starts it off to piss. Let's piss some people off here. Come on.
California. Sorry. Georgia. And Oklahoma.
Top
Sorry.
3 least favorite states. Well, I'm gonna go with. Yeah, that's right. We didn't say why. I would say my 3 are Iowa, California, Nebraska.
Okay, my top 3 are Kansas, Alabama, and Texas.
Okay.
All right.
So now we probably offended maybe 10 states there in that little thing.
Sorry, guys. All right, my next one is, you said get a little controversial, so here we go. Top pet peeves with social media. So I guess it's my turn to start off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, I'm going right for the jugular.
Is it me?
No, it's me. Top pet peeves with social media. My top pet peeve is the most popular people in social media don't actually do what they claim to do. It's on you, Mike.
On me? Big pet peeves about social media. Yeah, positivity. It would be my biggest pet peeve. The world isn't a positive place all the time. I'm more of a realist. I want to see real stuff. And oftentimes social media is glitz, glam, and unreal.
Mine is feeling the pressure to keep up with it all the time.
That's a good one.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel a pressure to keep up with social media.
Right. I took a social media hiatus, which I do like maybe once every couple months. I'll take a week off or so, and then you almost feel guilty.
Yeah.
It's weird.
All right, you guys ready for the next one? This one's on you, Mike, to start.
Oh.
Top pet peeves with the Overland community.
I would say my number one pet peeve with the Overland community is excluding certain means of transport, meaning that in my definition, overlanding is done with it could be done with 4 wheels, it could be done with 2 wheels, it could be a motorcycle, it could be a bicycle, it could be a Jeep, it could be 2-wheel, 4-wheel drive, and I think that oftentimes we try to shrink it down somewhere amongst that area.
It's your turn, Candy.
The stuff. There's a lot of stuff that the overlanding community puts pressure on. You have to have this or you're not an overlander. And I don't agree with that. I think that you get what you need, you get what you know how to use and what you enjoy and what you'll get the most out of. And I don't need all the other doodads and knickknacks.
My pet peeve with the overland community. There's too much of a focus on off-roading and military look to things.
Yep.
Love the military, so let's not get that twisted. But they want to dress and they want their vehicle to have like a military tone to it.
Yep. Yep. The off-road thing that you bring up is a good point. It's overlanding doesn't have to be off-road.
You don't have to go off-road.
No.
You could go a year and not ever go off-road.
Right. But my biggest pet peeve question that people ask when I go somewhere, did you overland to get here? What on God's earth does that even mean? If I didn't fly or take a boat, I clearly went overland. Right?
Yeah.
Yep, so kind of like a bridge to that question or a segue from that question is, one thing you would change about the overland community if you could. Candy.
Be more willing to share your experiences, your real experiences, and don't sugarcoat it. We want to hear, I want to know what you're really doing out there. A lot of people, they do sugarcoat it. And if I could change one thing about what they put out there, it's, you said it too, it's about keeping it real. I want to know if I need to maybe potentially do something other than what I'm doing. You know, if that makes any sense at all.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so if I could change anything, it would be, telling people, we do want to see the reality of it. I don't want to see, too much of the raw nitty gritty, but I don't want it so sugar coated that it's such a, an over romanticized idea.
I wouldn't allow people to be at the top of this industry who haven't gone on an overland trip. That's it.
That's a good one.
That is a great one.
That's all.
Some of the top guys in this community, I'm still waiting for them to go on their first overland trip.
Right.
They've gone.
It goes a little bit to what Candy said about the gear. Because they're really good at strapping gear on the side of their truck. But
and I know this is supposed to be a quick round, but since you brought that up, the gear part is one of the reasons why I don't like it, because they're telling you to buy gear that's not been through a year or 2 years. They don't know if that's real, true overland gear.
right.
And people go buy it. And then they brag about, I saw, and I went and bought it. I don't want to mention any names.
The big thing I don't like about the overlanding thing is the word overlanding. Like I would rather see it more or less exclusive and more broadly painted. So like I use the word nomadic a lot. Whether it's a quote van lifer or an overlander or a jeeper or
because the spirit is the same.
Because the spirit's the same.
I agree with that.
It's getting out and doing things and seeing stuff. So to try to make it a broader category, I think is my big thing.
I just feel like they should just follow what the actual definition really is. If you're camping on the, I get another one of my pet peeves is I'll be talking to somebody and we'll get into a conversation about overlanding, and inevitably I hear this verbatim over and over again. Well, I've been overlanding for 30 years. We just didn't call it overlanding. But no, you weren't overlanding. You were camping for a week or a weekend. You didn't overland. You didn't even leave your state. Stop it.
Stop it. Or we're going to throw you right off this cliff here.
Right.
All right, I think we're done with that one. Oh, this is a fun one, since we were talking about gear. Favorite piece of gear on your rig?
Who's first? Me? I'll go. Refrigerator. My Dometic refrigerator is such a game changer. I don't have to mess with ice. I love it.
Go ahead.
Can I cheat?
You can cheat. Go ahead.
My two game changers would be my KTM motorcycle, because it adds a whole nother dimension of being able to travel around with not just my rig, and Starlink. I would say Starlink.
I'm going to have to go with the same thing as Candi. I'm on my second refrigerator. The one I have now is Dometic. I had an ARB, but so I don't care about the brand. Having that refrigerator was a big deal. It changed how I schedule out my itineraries. It decreased the amount of times that I had to go back to civilization.
Did you find that it also altered the way you shopped?
Absolutely.
Because that's what I found.
Like there were some things that were like, oh no, this will drip into the ice on day 3.
Yeah.
I get more fresh meats than I ever got. I get more seafood than I ever got.
It's one of the when people ask me what you need to get, it's definitely in my top 3 things that I recommend getting to equip your vehicle with, because food obviously is probably the most, second to water, is the most important thing that a human needs, right?
Right.
So, yeah, the ability to store food opens up a whole another universe.
Oh, I agree. Store food, store water, and some kind of living arrangements, whether it be a tent or an awning or a hammock or whatever it is. You got those 3 things, you're more than halfway there.
Yep.
You can go on your first trip when you get those things squared away. All right, what's next, guys? Okay. Piece of gear least happy with on your rig.
That's not me first. That's him.
Oh, boy. Piece of gear I'm least happy with. Oh, I could tell you, I'm sitting in it. Chairs. I've discovered over the year, by the way, these chairs are super comfortable, but there's always something wrong with the chair. It's either too big, too bulky, doesn't fit somewhere, chair.
I'm going to say my Rotopacks. I'm not getting rid of them. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to order and replace a couple of them. But you have to screw them on and screw them off and screw them on and screw them off until you get it just right so that they don't leak. And when you actually need to use gas, it's a troublesome affair to get that nozzle right to be able to pour your gas into your vehicle. So for me, it's my Rotopacks.
You're dead on. Oh my God.
So to be more specific, it's the gasoline Rotopacks.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, yes.
Okay. Because I have water Rotopacks.
I do too. They've never leaked.
Yeah, I'm very happy with those because they have not.
So I might give a tip. So what I've done is I've got enough water Rotopacks that I've taken some of those nozzles and put it on the gas ones, so I don't have to bother with clicking that thing. I just pour the gas in.
By the way, that's probably not Rotopac's fault. This is like legislation in the United States. It's some safety bull crap. With that little click, 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 click thing, which is it's infuriating. You want to take the whole thing off, throw it away, and dump the can. Yep.
My least favorite piece of gear for me would probably have to be my awning. I've had that pole bend so many times in the heavy wind. It's just almost not worth putting out there.
Right.
There are days I'm like, it's raining, but then if it gets windy, it might bend again, and then how do I put it away?
Oh, I got an answer for you. I'm going to show you the awning of your dreams when we get back to the campsite.
Can't wait to see it.
Okay, here we go, guys. You ready? First thing I do in the morning on the road. So this is something, I want to be more specific. Not just what you do in the morning, something that you religiously do. This is something you do every morning when you're on the road.
So if it's cold out, I hit my remote start to heat up downstairs before I put my feet on the floor. Otherwise, I make a cup of tea or coffee,
Well,
some beverage.
mine is a two-parter because they're connected. I turn on my heater to warm things up, and then I open a shower pouch and I warm up my shower pouch with the heater. So I'm totally clean before I leave out of the tent.
Coffee. I make my coffee. I don't do the heating up part because I try to avoid the areas where you have to do that.
All right, we're winding down here. All right, here we go. I'm very curious as to the answers to this question. Most underrated gear in your kit. Can't say refrigerator.
Yeah. Most underrated. So I carry a 20 by 20 Pelican case in my Jeep because it acts as my trunk and it keeps me from having to, it's where all the little stuff goes. It's kind of my catch-all. So, because I think it's important, because I have a goose gear plate system. So my Pelican case is actually strapped down. So no matter what happens, if I slam on the brakes or whatever, everything is always strapped down in place so that nothing comes forward. Because that's a projectile. That could, hurt you. So my Pelican case, the 20 by 20, that catch-all, I think that is my most underrated piece of gear because I don't even think about it when I use it. I use it as a step to get upstairs. My dog uses it as a step to get upstairs. I use it as my catch-all. I sit on it to put my shoes on and change my clothes. I use it as a cooking surface. So yeah, I would have to say my Pelican case because I don't even think about using it, but I couldn't live without it. It just keeps everything so nice and organized.
I'm going to go with what Candi said a little bit, like a storage stuff, because I have these little chairs, or my little stools inside my truck that I sit on. I watch TV, or the computer on. I work, I eat, but they have little lids that come off, and everything goes in them. I couldn't live without the storage stuff. When you're traveling in such a tight space, any kind of nook and cranny to put stuff in is super important.
Mm-hmm. I would have to say my front runner water storage system that I have inside my vehicle. It's just changed everything for me. I stay hydrated more. I know once I fill the tank, I've got water for weeks. I'm not worried about water. Brushing my teeth, I just pull the spigot out. I brush my teeth. I want to make coffee. I make coffee as many times as I want. If I'm thirsty, I drink. If I need water for a shower, it's right there, ready to go, stored, safe. It's inside my vehicle, so I'm not worried about it being tampered with, especially with next year, me going south, and I want to really be cognizant of my water safety. So I would say my front runner water storage. I don't know the official name for it. People like to know the official, but it's a front runner water storage. All right, that's all my questions. And if you guys have got some questions that you want to pop up, feel free. Or if not, we can move on to the next thing.
Let's go on. Let's do it.
All right, we're going to move on to the next thing, guys.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of laughing going on today, so I don't know. I'm a little afraid.
I'm laughing because I know where I'm headed.
Oh, good.
So we're going to kind of go back to some of these questions that we had. So let's go back to the top 5 favorite states. I would like to know, what is your criteria for your 5 states? And I guess I'll start with mine and give you guys an opportunity to think about it. Vermont, I picked Vermont because 24/7, 365. It is always a visually beautiful postcard place to be, whether it's summer, winter, or fall. Matter of fact, a lot of postcards are actually photographed in Vermont. And then if you actually get there in the fall, which is obviously the most popular time, fall is my favorite weather, and it's like the ultimate place in the United States to see the fall colors. So that's why I picked Vermont. Wyoming, I like it because it's such a vast state with very few people, lots of wildlife, great national park, great national forest, great rivers and creeks and waterways for fly fishing. If you're an equestrian, great place to take your horses. A lot of equestrian campsites. There's no bad thing. If you need some city flavor within your traveling in the state, Wyoming is an awesome place to stop and rejuvenate and get yourself back together. And then I'll just say ditto for Montana. I feel the same way about it. The ratio of people to square mileage, how visually appealing it is. Some of the top blue ribbon waterways for fly fishing are in Montana. What were my other states? Utah. Who doesn't know why Utah's on my list? I'm thinking if I ask 100 people, 98 of them are going to have Utah on their list. There's nothing bad to say about Utah except it gets really hot. I love red rock landscapes. It's some of the most beautiful red rock landscapes. If you're into geography and anthropology and history, those rocks can tell you some wonderful stories. If you're looking for a city, there's Moab. And I forgot what my other state was, so I can't get into that. All right, go ahead, Mike.
Well, let me give you the criteria. I think for me, it's beauty and things to see and do. The second thing is the people. And the third thing in my criteria list is the ability, particularly as a full-time traveler, to find places to stay, and the accessibility of those things, and how open the state and the people are to that lifestyle. So that's kind of how I judge a state. So as an example, one of the states that does not appear on my list of top 5 that is beautiful would be Colorado. So I'm going to use that as an example. But I find Colorado is not a very friendly state for nomadic life and the ability to stay places. So it certainly doesn't rank in the top 5 for me. So that's kind of important. California, being on my list, had more to. It's certainly a beautiful state, but that's for seeing things and doing things, but then there's a whole mess of other things on the negative side, from restrictions to prices of stuff to population and whatnot. So that I think that's how I do my criteria, which is how I end up with Utah. I'll say ditto to what Phil said. Utah, Montana, Wyoming are all states that are fairly unpopulated, with unbelievable views, and camping facilities is so easy. I mean, you can boondock just about anywhere, off-grid, BLM land. You'll go through a town. Many of the little towns have city parks, I'll call them, that you can camp for free. It's just amazing. They got dump stations and free water fill-ups and whatnot, I find, in those places. Vermont, same as what Phil said, always top of my list. I mean, it's just an amazing, amazing scenic state. So that's how I judge.
All right, it's on you, Candi.
So Nevada's my home state, and so it's home base for me. I love it, and it's got a lot of the criteria, that for open camping and scenery and things like that. So but yeah, number one, it's my home state. I love it there. I love Nevada. So Tennessee, I love Tennessee. They've got amazing scenery, and it's a lot like Vermont, how you described that you like Vermont, because no matter when you go, there is something beautiful to see every time of year. It is the picture postcard, and I think that, it is probably just as well, photographed. Vermont is, this is Norman Rockwell, USA, out here. But Tennessee has got beautiful foliage and wildlife and national parks and mountains and mountains and mountains and, interesting things that, little hidey things. Like I discovered the Nemo train tunnel recently, which was very interesting and very creepy, but it was a lot of fun to do that. And then, of course, Wyoming, Montana. I mean, I can't compete with what you guys say because it pretty much just echoes what you think. We all think there's wide open spaces and just tons of things to do. And I can't remember my last state either. You got to maybe narrow that down to maybe 3 states next time, man.
I think we all covered 4.
Okay. I just want to ask quickly before I get into this. When you guys are traveling, do you ever attend events other than like Overland Expo? Like major, like festivals or concerts?
Recently I have. I mean, I've started going to some, I'll call them van life events. So similarly in line with Overland Expo-ish, although they're not really expos, they're more focused on, I would say, meeting other travelers and finding out, because it's a big information share. So regardless of what kind of rig they're driving, you're all coming in and sharing information. Some of the places that I've actually traveled to in the last 6 months are because I found out from other people at some of those events. But I'll also go to, occasionally there could be a balloon festival, or it could be, bring up Vermont all the time. You're going to go up to, a fall foliage event or something. So there's other stuff that I definitely do.
Okay. So do you on your travels attend any events?
No, I've accidentally attended events. I mean, I've accidentally ended up in like New Mexico's balloon festival that they had. I accidentally ended up there.
So my question was going to be, give me your top 3 favorite events in the U.S. The Balloon Fiesta is my #1 event.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I feel like you should once in your overlanding nomadic life at least once attend the Balloon Fiesta. You'll want to attend again, but you need to at least do it once. It's one of the most visually appealing events that I attend in the whole United States. I've actually gone to the event and stayed there. And I've actually found out what the weather pattern was, and I've camped away and had them, literally fly over my tent. And it's so many of them. I'm for the visual. Visual is probably the #1 thing for a lot of things for me, and so that's why the Balloon Fiesta is #1 for me. My #2 event is in Maine, the Lobster Festival. It's not a real big, it's in a small town. It's not huge, but it's got like rides. They cook lobster in every possible way that you could ever think of to cook lobster. But if you like lobster, you'll be in heaven. So those are like 2 things that I recommend to people all the time, is the Lobster Festival in Maine and the Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Anybody want to add to that or add an event? Or
So I will say that I have been to the Garlic Festival in Gilroy, California. Yeah, I know. But I do like garlic. But again, it was an accident that I was there to begin with. But it was a lot of fun. I did end up going. It was a lot of fun. And there are talks between myself and my husband when he does retire and we do travel about traveling the country, visiting all the food festivals. We like to eat. So we like the food festivals. And I will say, too, though, I really like the wine regions in I do like the events, like harvest time events that the wine regions put on too. So that's something else that that we're going to be doing once he does join me at some point. But we want to travel around and visit all the food and wine festivals all over the country, because that just sounds like fun.
Well, with that, just for the audience, most of the questions that I get are about how do you plan your trips, because I do a lot of things on my trips. Mm-hmm. And I've actually taken a trip similar to that where I went to different festivals. Mm-hmm. Using festivals and events is a good way to start your bare bones itinerary on where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and you've got something to do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these events have camping at the event or very close.
Yep.
And they usually have like carts running through the campsite, so you don't have to worry about your rig. That's another concern of mine all the time is if I park my rig and I'm 2 miles away from it, you don't have to worry about your rig. At the Balloon Fiesta, actually, if you register in time, you can park your RV or your camper right at the event and just walk out. You don't even have to leave your vehicle to see the event.
I've done that with like a tour, talking about going on tours, setting itineraries. Like I'm going like on whether it's vineyards or breweries, and some of it is I'm a member of Harvest Host, which you could stay at these things. So you end up picking a thing and going, okay, I got to drive from Arizona to Oregon. Let me check and see what brewery's on the way and set your course based on that. And oftentimes those are places that you can stay too. So. That from a route planning standpoint, I look at kind of what is on the route on the way of where I'm trying to get to.
Do you guys ever go to farmers markets while you're traveling?
Yes,
yep.
I love farmers markets.
Is that a preference or just something you do?
It's a preference. If I can, for instance, I went apple picking in Vermont. That was fantastic. I actually got to, and that was the first time I'd ever done anything like that before. I was driving by the orchard, I saw it, and I had to stop. So I actually turned around and came back, and I spent a couple of hours just out there apple picking and just enjoying the scenery, and it was just such a fantastic experience. That was probably the largest farmers market that I've ever been to. But yes, there was a really great one that I went to in Delaware one time. But whenever I travel, part of the immersion experience for me, this is why I quote unquote overland or travel nomadically. It's for the immersion experience. I like to shop locally. I like to eat what they're eating. I want to, know what's going on, and I want to enjoy and get to know the area. That's part of the reason I travel this way. You're
not traveling over something. You're traveling through it.
Yeah, I want to be a traveler and enjoy it, not a tourist.
And food is one
I'm
of the
in total agreement with you.
that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what people do regionally is very different.
Yes.
From what they eat. So
yes.
Here we're sitting on the Atlantic coast right now. There's seafood everywhere here. So this is a seafood capital. A lot of fishing goes out of here. Gloucester's one of the largest fishing towns in all of America. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely what I do. Mexico, in Baja, I lived on farmer market. I mean, that's all whether it was them bringing it to us, camped in the arroyo, or us going out and finding places. I mean, almost all of my food came from a farmer's market. Mm-hmm.
Most of the people watching are U.S. travelers. They're not crossing any borders or not. I'm trying to get people to start thinking about eating more healthy. I've lost 10 pounds on this trip, and partially it's because I've been hitting farmers markets. I've been eating healthier.
Non-processed. I mean, that's the big thing.
Right, non-processed foods. And when you go to the farmers market, you see all those vegetables, and you're eager to buy them and cook them.
Because they're beautiful.
Yes.
They look appetizing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned the vegetables, but there's usually some butcher, there's usually some cattle owner, or sometimes an alpaca owner or something like that. Yeah. You'll find exotic meats. So if you're a foodie like me, depending upon where you are, a farmer's market is the only place for you to get certain kind of foods.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You'll go to their grocery store and you're not going to find any of your favorite things. That's been a big deal on this trip.
Mm-hmm.
is that I couldn't find things that I'm used to eating on a regular basis. Like it's been very hard to find liverwurst in Canada. They don't seem to eat liverwurst, and I love liverwurst.
Well, you bring up a point. Like, as a full-timer on the road, I mean, I very rarely ever go to the same grocery store twice, right? So every single time I go shopping, it's a new experience. You know, whether the brands, you know, you travel enough around the country, even in the United States, the brand of grocery store changes. You know, I've discovered all sorts of new stores. It's regionalized, right? It's not, very few things are national. So, you know, it's always, I call it like mystery shopping. Every time I walk in somewhere, it's a new experience. So you never get used to you don't have a hometown store. So and I would say that's a challenge to being on the road too, is that you can't find your liverwurst, whether that's because they don't have it in that region or you didn't go to the right store. You don't even know. You know, who knows?
And sometimes, like, let's just stick with liverwurst. They may have the liverwurst, but their pigs are fed differently, exercised differently.
Right.
So it'll be a
taste
different,
the same.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I found I actually appreciate that and like that you have to have an open mind when you're traveling, as far as I can tell from eating, because I think the wider your open mind is, the better, right? Because if you're always looking for stuff that you're used to, that becomes challenging.
Well,
Yes.
I think you don't get the full experience either of traveling.
I agree.
That's part of the joy of traveling is,
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
whatever they do there.
Yep.
And speaking of that, like, one of my rules is, like, if I go in a restaurant or a cafe or I'm eating with somebody, I don't try to, you know how people order something but then they reconfigure it. Can you do this? Can you take this out of it? If it's a local dish, even if it's something, give it to me how you guys eat it. Let me see how it tastes the way you guys make it first,
Right.
before I start altering.
Right. Right.
When in Rome, do as the Romans.
Correct. Yeah.
That's my thing.
I agree.
Yes.
Yep.
So, since we're on food, and I'm going to get off food, both you guys share with me one of your most exciting food experiences on the road.
So my very first trip across country to Acadia, I'm a big seafood eater, and I actually got to enjoy real Maine lobster on the side of the road, caught by the fishermen that very morning. Those are the experiences that I look for, and to this day, that is what I learned how to dismember a lobster. I had no idea, because I was embarrassed. I said, I'm going to need you to, you know, maybe help me out here a little bit. And he's like, here's your instruction sheet. They actually gave me an instruction sheet, which was very helpful. And boy, they don't explain very well how to get your hands on the hot little bugger as you pull it apart. But that was one of the best food experiences that I have ever had traveling, ever. And I'll never forget it.
Mexico in general. So obviously spending 6 months down there last winter, I'm the guy that goes down the road, whether I'm driving the truck or my motorcycle or riding a bike or whatever I'm doing, but I look at all the options, and whatever looks to me like it might be the weirdest hole in the wall place that I can see is where I go. And I found, like, Baja Peninsula, going to get the little carnitas. And in fact, I found a place that's not too far from where I was camped that I would go every Saturday. They'd have a thing. You get 2 carnitas and a cerveza for 35 pesos, which is like $1.75. And how do you go wrong with that? And they were huge and beautiful and tasty. And the place looked like something that the three of us would not sure we would want to go into together. But you gotta kind of like just be open-minded. And so I'm kind of famous for that now. I just go every village I go to, and I can't wait till this coming winter when I'm gonna be backpacking or bikepacking the whole Baja Divide. So we're going to be riding our bikes into multiple little tiny villages along the way, and I can't wait to just walk into the little local village thing and find my next carnitas.
Well, It would be so easy to cheat and mention one of the restaurants that I went to on this trip, because I did a food show.
I loved watching your feed.
Yeah.
It made me hungry.
Yeah, it made me hungry too.
So it would be so easy to just pick one of those restaurants and say, but it was actually not a restaurant, but it was in Alaska. As I was going around, I was telling different people about, they want to ask you where you're going, what you're doing. And I'm like, I'm filming a food show. Well, I kept getting people that were like, well, I want you to try something that I'm making. So my great food experience was being in Alaska, having people compete with having the best food experience to give me. I had a family that was in Homer, camped next to me. They were fishing for the winter, and they were getting all types of salmon. And they shared salmon with me, and not just the regular way. We had salmon tartare, we had salmon sushi. They showed me so many different. We had a salmon ceviche. I had salmon in so many ways I never had before. I camped with some hunters right across the border from Dawson Creek, near Gold Camp. Chicken Camp, and they gave me moose nose. I didn't even know you could eat a moose's nose. It was delicious.
I didn't know
it
that
was
either.
Delicious. I'm sorry, moose tongue.
Oh, tongue.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was delicious. And as a going away present, they gave me chorizo that they had made from wild boar, and they gave me some caribou meat that they had just killed and hunted.
Doesn't get much fresher than that.
And I don't want to just keep going, because I could go on and on and on. But I just had so many experiences where people were like, "Oh, you food show, huh? Let me," and they wanted to outdo the food show and show me, "Hey, no, I can cook better than that." So it was my experience with the people in Alaska cooking for me. I don't think I'll ever have enough. I'm actually thinking of, from now on when I'm traveling, just telling people I'm doing a food show, no matter if I'm doing one or not. Right. For the reaction, because they all want to cook for me.
Because think about it, food brings people together all the time.
Yes.
So that's the best way to meet people is through food.
Yes. I even had, the food show was a doorway to so much food. Mm-hmm. I literally had a lady come into the restaurant I was doing the show for and said, "When you're finished, you need to come over here and try my food." And I had stuff like that happen. People were trying to outdo each other. Yep. So it was the greatest experience culinarily that I've ever had. But it wasn't at a restaurant. It was the people.
Nice.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food, I love seafood. I love lobster, I love crab, so it's more of a, it's not one specific thing. I love seafood. I'm all about it.
What about you, Mike?
I love food in general, but I love Spanish-inspired Mexican, and I love Asian, particularly Asian fusion stuff. Those are sort of genres I like.
Okay, another question I have for you guys is, do you have any favorite places to just camp? You're not going there to drive or to see historic things. Do you have any favorite places that you go just to park your rig and just sit there and enjoy yourself? For me, there's several places in Montana, several places in Vermont. They're all in the 5 states.
Well, I was going to say that's what I would say, the same thing. That's why they're my 5 favorite states, is because those are where the places I can go and camp and just sit there and do nothing.
Now, you'll sit on this trip. I stayed in one place for 14 days. That's the longest I've ever camped in one place, ever. That's nothing for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, our styles, we were joking in camp, because I laugh because these guys both driving their Jeeps, seems like they put, a couple 100,000 miles on in a week. And I'm more of the style where I immerse, so I move much more infrequently, and I'll stay in a place longer, and then I'll bounce. But like I said, I mean, I also have the motorcycle on board, so I use the truck as a base camp more, and I go out and explore from there. So my style's a little bit different, but.
Candi, what's the typical length of time that you camp in a place that you really like? You really dig this place?
If I really like it, I'll stay 3 days, maybe 4. I just get bored. There has to be a lot going on for me to want to stick around. There has to be, because I'm a big hiker. I love to hike. So, I'll put a backpack on and off I go. But there has to be a lot going on for me to want to stay more than 3 or 4 days. That's the truth. And like I said, it's just, I'm not full time like you are. It would be very, very different if it was, but I'm always on the move. I like to be on the move. That's how I travel.
What would you say your average miles range is from one spot to another? How far what's a couple of 100 miles?
A travel day, you're saying?
Yeah.
An average, well, it depends. So if I'm just taking my time, I won't want to go more than a couple hours away. And I do a lot of, I do some research like the night before and decide, okay, well, maybe this is going to be cool over here. Or I'll talk to somebody and they'll tell me about some place that's really, really cool. So that can vary. But if I'm trying to get home, I can drive maybe 10-hour days to get cross country. No problem if I'm hauling, to get to a point and then start taking my time. All the rest of the way. But it varies, though,
Are you a national park person?
Oh, yes, sir.
What about, I never asked you that, Mike. Are you a national park person?
I would say I would be average on that. Like, I've been to many of them, and there's a few that I really like. But I also have, there's a few that I prefer. I don't want to say I don't like them, but there are areas around the national park that are very similar that I would prefer to go to because they lack the people. The problem with some of the national parks is they're very busy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the direction that the national parks are going with the reservation systems?
I'm frustrated with that. I am very frustrated with that because it takes a lot. It sucks a lot of the spontaneity out of travel. If I'm now Yosemite, for instance, they are the one that started the whole thing. I think now, and every chance that I got, I would drive through Yosemite National Park just for the scenic roadway, and now you can't even do that, and it's so disappointing. It's like what's the point in having access to this if you really don't have access to it?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem here maybe is that not enough people are aware that there's a lot of other things besides the national parks. So the marketing was so successful that a lot of people think that that's the only places that you go are national parks. So they're inundated, they're overcrowded, because there's a lot of people that aren't aware of the other 80 parks that are right around that national park that are similar, but nobody heard of them.
Bouncing off of that, I've recently discovered state parks. Mm-hmm. So instead of national parks, I thought, okay, well, because of the population, I decided, okay, they don't have a reservation system. I'm going to look into some state parks. And this trip, I have actually discovered some fantastic state parks that blow some of the national parks out of the water. I'm just like, how have I never heard about this gem before?
We're on the same page.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was amazing. I was able to get into, camp the same day, and I had no issues. And it was just, I've had the best experience with state parks this trip.
Some of the facilities are great inside those parks. Amazing scenery, a lot of hiking. Yeah, there's a lot of, I agree. Canada's another one. The provincial parks are amazing.
I love their parks.
Yes, they are.
America needs to follow their example.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm going to piggyback off of you on this. Also, the national forests. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but a majority of the national parks are adjacent to national forests.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, for instance, the Grand Tetons, the best camping is
National Forest.
in the national forest.
Yes.
Yep. Agreed.
Great spots back
just
up in
did
there.
that.
On either, and then the same thing on the other side of Yellowstone.
Yep. Same thing. Yep.
And I find most glacier.
Yep. Yep.
So if you didn't catch anything else, a tip for you is if you're looking for good camping and you don't want to be in the structured setting of the national park.
Or you can't get in.
Right.
And you're just literally out in the cold.
You can't get in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go with the state parks, go with the national forests.
We would be remiss. Okay, so I'm watching the time here. There's, unless you have something else we were to talk about, the three of us are sitting here. We would be remiss if we did not talk about solo travel, since all three of us solo travel.
Yes, we're going to dig deep into this.
I get a lot of questions about that, and I'm sure you guys do as well. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits and the disadvantages, I guess, disadvantage of traveling by yourself.
All right, well, you orchestrate this. Go aahead.
Well, I mean, I'll throw it out to Candi to start.
Okay.
How about that? I mean, tell me what you think. What are the? Because everybody, I think, looks at life on the road as glamorous, and you're on vacation all the time, and and it's going to be great. But let's talk a little bit about the not so glamorous side of it, and particularly the solo element and what challenges that presents.
So I was outside Gettysburg, and I was camping in the National Forest just outside Gettysburg. My check engine light came on. I am not a mechanic, and I am by myself. And here I am in the woods, in the dirt, not knowing what the heck's going on. Is my engine going to blow up? What do I need to do? So I pull over, and I just start poking around and looking around. That's... For me, personally, the mechanical issues have been my biggest thing. I was in the shop 3 separate times in 3 separate states last year on the road because we couldn't figure out what was really going on. So you're very dependent on other people. So the good news is you're by yourself and you're hanging out and it's all good. But the bad news is you're by yourself.
It gets scary fast.
Whenever it gets real like that, it is very scary for someone who lacks that depth of knowledge. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a mechanic.
Yep.
So...
I would say the number one thing for me is with solo travel, again, like what you were saying, everybody makes it look so glamorous. They love to show their feet in the tent and the beautiful scene out the tent. They love to show you them holding the coffee. But guess what? They had to get up. They had to make the coffee. They had to... If you don't, I've got a Forrest Whitakerism for you.
There we go.
If you don't do it, it don't get done.
That's right.
So that's the thing. There's nobody to, could you put the tent up today, or can you do the coffee, or you do lunch today? If you don't do it, it doesn't get done. If you don't feed yourself, if you don't set things up, so you're working constantly around the campsite.
I think that's the thing is lack of teamwork. So, and that translates into whether you're going to the laundromat or you're going to the grocery store or you're, at the gas station refilling and resupplying or whatever. There's no team involved. So that's a challenge. In some places even could be a security challenge where you can't watch your stuff and do something at the same time. So... I think we were talking about in camp yesterday, even going to a gas station out in the middle of nowhere sometimes, and you got to go run into either, use the facilities or go, get water or snacks or something. And now your rig is out there unattended, right? Because you don't have that teamwork to work with.
And that brings in mind solo travel. You have to be far more strategic.
Yes.
Like. I pick groceries. If I'm going to a grocery store, I try to pick one of those old-fashioned ones where the whole front is windows and park right in front. So every aisle, I can look down the aisle and see my vehicle. If I'm in a town and I decide to go to a restaurant, I try to pick one where I can sit outside or I can sit right there at the window with my vehicle. You're constantly aware of, I'm the only eyes and ears. I'm the only person. So you're working all the time.
Well, and then there's the emergency weather situations that come up. If I had not been by myself, I would not have gotten caught in the deluge that I was, running from, which saturated the entire interior of my vehicle to the point where the water ran and dripped from the mattresses to downstairs. I had to find a place with a camping cabin where I could go and do laundry and kind of regroup for 2 days just to let everything dry out, because guess what? I have nowhere to sleep.
Right.
Those cushions are saturated through, and there was no place. Now, so if I had a partner, we could have, taken turns driving and gotten out of there completely, and that situation never would have happened.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk a little bit about like the mental game of it too. I mean, I think most or many of us that are road warriors are fairly solo kind of people and independent minded and everything else. But having said that, I think there's still times where you get lonely or it gets weird. Like I know for me, like I need downtime by myself. I like spending time by myself. I don't have a problem going to a restaurant by myself and things like that. But for a certain length of time, you know, if it goes on too long, you know, I don't know. I don't know what that number is. I guess it depends on what your mindset is at the time. But like, let's say 3 or 4 days goes by and you're by yourself. You start talking to yourself after a while, and then it gets a little weird for me. You guys have any of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do. Well, and I really start, you know, missing sharing experiences with another person. Whenever it's super cool, I look at that and I'm like, wow, this is so great. And it would be be great to have someone go, yeah.
Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We all could look and go, wow, look at this view. But we're all sharing that.
Yeah.
But if you're here by yourself,
and my dog's well trained, but he's not that well trained. But we're working on that.
Duke, now get excited about this view.
Yeah.
Well, like my wife is not into the overlanding thing. So there are times, and I'm cool with that. But there are some times I'm in certain places and I'm like, man, I wish my wife was right here with me. I could we don't even have to talk. Just be standing next to me here.
Sharing the moment.
Yeah.
Because the fact that she didn't see it and then you go home and explain it isn't the same thing.
Not at all.
Photos don't even
Not at all.
to cover it either. I
Matter
send
of-
pictures home.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if I do take a picture of a place like that, every time I see it, I remember that I wished that she was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird feeling when I see the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a little scared. You know, in some places I go, if it's totally new and I've never been there before, so I have no familiarity. And like Candi, even, you know, I am somewhat mechanically inclined, but still, if something goes wrong with my vehicle, I mean, you know, there's just the fact that I'm not, you know, there's no mechanic out in the woods or something, so you get a little, you can get a little spooky. You know, I'll hear noises occasionally. I'll be like, what was that noise coming out of the truck? You know, everything seemed, you know, I'm assuming, like I drive with the assumption that it's going to spontaneously combust and blow up. Like I do. I drive with the negative, and then when I get somewhere and oh, look at that, it's positive, I made it.
Yeah.
Rather than the other way around. I don't, you know, driving around with a rosy, you know, outlook on everything all the time, and then something happens, then you're really disappointed.
I just turn the radio up.
Yeah, that works too.
So it sounds like, are those only negatives on everybody's list for solo travel?
You know.
Well, we covered safety. You know, safety is a big issue.
Another one
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
treatment. They treat you like a stepchild when you go in a restaurant and it's just you. You go on a boat tour to the glaciers. Everybody's looking at you funny because they're all coupled up and you're just that one person. They always
like,
think
well,
you're
what
either
happened?
a loser
What
or
happened? Why is this guy single? You know, is he a weirdo?
Right.
Or, you know, oh yeah. There's definitely some of that too.
So sometimes I just wish I had the overland date.
Yeah, an overland date. Yeah. And by the way, I also think sometimes, as we can all admit, people ask about your truck, what you're doing all the time, right? We get approached all the time.
The gas station walk around.
The gas station walk around. I feel like maybe it would happen a little bit less if I was with somebody. Because then you know, the fact that you're single makes you more approachable, I think. People are going to walk up to you because you're not talking to anybody.
Right.
You're not distracted by anybody else.
Yeah.
So they see you, they're like, oh, there's somebody by themselves. Oh, perfect opportunity. Let me go ask if the big orange truck goes under the ocean.
And if you have a partner with you, because you do enjoy talking to people about the truck.
Well, I'm an introvert.
But the times that
You're a game show host.
but the times that you don't, that other person can be the bad cop and be, hey, Mike, we got to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
The
lack the
distract.
bad cop thing. Yep.
Yeah.
And another negative is there's a lot of things where when you're places where a lot of travelers are, they usually package things for couples. They'll have a special discount for the couple where it's only a few more dollars than what I'm paying by myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely, yeah. I mean, it's different. I mean, there's positives to it, I guess. I mean, if you want to...
Let's go into that.
Let's go into it. Yeah. I mean, I think a positive is that you get a lot of reflection time. You do what you want. So there is nobody else. There is no compromise necessarily. There's nobody else to say, you know, I really didn't feel like doing that hike today. You know? So
Or
from a
riding that
selfish,
bike.
Yeah. From a selfish perspective, you can do what you want whenever you want to do it.
I'm social in spurts.
Yep.
So that's why solo travel is just excellent for me. You know, like we're going to go to this event, we're going to feast, we're going to party, we're going to have fun, we're going to socialize.
And then we're going to retreat.
Exactly.
Because Overlanding'S is a good example. We're all going down there next week. By the time I get done with that weekend, I have spoken more in one weekend than you know the 6 months prior to it. I am exhausted.
We're dehydrated. We're exhausted. We're ready to crawl back into the woods and just be left alone for a while.
and another thing, I want to give an example to make my point. I got invited to go on a trip with a bunch of guys to do the Oregon Backcountry Discovery Route.
Okay.
And I was kind of eager to do it, but I was eating dust the whole trip.
Oh, that's
So
not
after
fun.
2 days, I said, hey guys, you know, everyone else had never done it. I was like, let me remove myself. That's less dust. You guys enjoy yourself. And then I went to Vermont.
Right.
But we were like stopping and camping in short spurts. And I'm like, I do this trail in 2 days. So, because that's my pace, but I had to go with the pace of the group.
Yeah.
And I hate going with the pace of the group.
It's very difficult unless you just happen to be naturally the same. Pace is a big thing.
Yes.
Big thing.
And if the other person isn't into photography or social media or anything like that, they don't want to stop when you want to stop. They're like, he stops at everything. And I'm, even if I wasn't taking pictures, I would stop because I want to see it.
I'm usually the one, I'm volunteered to get at the back because I trail so far behind. I'm always, they're like, where is she? Where is she? Well, I'm stopping and taking a picture of the bug that I saw on the flower on the side of the trail over there.
Yep.
You know, that's me.
And see, there'll be a person that'll be upset with you
Yeah.
because they're like, we keep having to wait for her.
Yeah.
When you probably just go ahead, I got it.
Yeah. Eventually, I'm just like, just go, enjoy yourselves. Just leave me here. I'm good.
Yeah. No, that is a big thing, for sure. And that's an advantage of being solo.
And you have to compromise with a group of people. And the whole thing is, this is my freedom. I don't want anything shackling me. This is my freedom. I want to do what I want to do. I want to go where I want to go. You know, there's sometimes that I just don't want to. I'll have an itinerary, and I don't want to follow it. But if I'm with a group and we've agreed on this itinerary, I'm stuck with it.
Right.
I have literally got to the first campsite of something and decided to go a whole complete other state somewhere, a different direction, opposite direction. And you can't do that with a group of people.
Right.
No.
Right.
And then you're all crammed in the same space, and it's just
Yeah, I have a tough
you're
time
on
with that too. 'cause
top of each other.
I'm a big proponent of the less planning, the better, because I find the more you plan something, the greater the chance of failure, right? Because something's going to go wrong. So I tend to plan less and try to stay as flexible as possible. And I agree with Phil. Like there's times I set out in the morning and I'm going there, and then I don't know, some shiny object appeared that way, and that's the way I go. But with a group, then it's a big discussion. Hey, who wants to go this way?
Because you don't want to tick anybody off, and you want to play well with others.
And I find myself doing a lot of pre-screening of people more because
let's talk about that.
Well, like, okay, let's go with like probably one that we'll all agree on. I'm retired. I've got freedom. Usually the person asking to go on the trip with me has to get back.
Right.
So they're trying to do everything in 2 weeks. That I might do over a whole summer. So,
or they're taking 47 phone calls from the office or something, and it's interrupting what we're trying to do or whatever, because you're on a different. Your minds are in different places in life.
And the way I schedule things, my whole thinking is different than a lot of other people's. Like I schedule big events during the week. And they're used to doing things on the weekend.
Right.
Oh, I avoid the weekend
Me too.
rush. Oh.
Yep.
So it's
I never know. I think every day's Saturday, but then I like when it really is Saturday. I go, oh, this is when you got to lay low, because like you just avoid that because that's what everybody else is doing something.
Yeah. The psychology of the trip is different from me to a lot of other people. So it's not conducive for them or me to get together and go on a trip. I've just come to that realization.
Right.
I have to really like you, and like even you, I can only deal with you for a short period of time.
Yeah, like has it been like 4 weeks already? No, I'm kidding.
But I think there are far more positives to solo travel than there are, at least for me, than negatives. And that makes me also want to cover a subject that's related, especially since you guys are in education. It's like a taboo thing to talk about solo travel. And when you do, you just make the quick blurb and say, well, I know there's solo travelers out there, be careful, but you should be with somebody. And they kind of leave it at that, and they don't really address it.
I teach that at Expo, the art of solo travel. That's one of the things that I teach at the Expo. So I think that whenever people say things like that to other folks, I think it's very condescending because they assume that you're a newbie and you don't know what you're doing. Because I'm like, yeah, I travel, because I'm on several pages for Jeep owners and stuff and groups on Facebook and things like that. And they're like, don't go alone. Never, just don't do it. It's not safe. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I have more experience than all of you put together, and I'm going alone.
Right.
And it's okay because I have the level of experience that I'm comfortable going alone and dealing with most situations.
But I think as far as it needs to become more mainstream and addressed more, because I go everywhere and from my observation, there's a majority of people traveling solo.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So why act like it's only a few
some of this
people?
is coming out of the four-wheel community thing, because it was taught early on that you never go out in the woods by yourself. One vehicle shouldn't go anywhere by itself because you always need backup vehicles to pull somebody else out or whatever. So it's really a off-road mindset. And I think that's one of the problems and challenges that you have when you start talking overlanding and getting confused with off-roading.
I would have never learned to off-road if I waited for everybody else to come with me. My days off were so messed up.
Right.
I had maybe one day off on a Tuesday, half a day, and I wanted to go out and do my thing. I went out at night. I didn't have lights and all that stuff, and that's how you learn, is you go out and you do it. I just thought, I'm not dumb.
Right, you fail forward, you make mistakes, but you learn, and then you get the art of self-recovery. You know what you can and cannot do. Yeah. You know where the limits and the boundaries and things are. So, I don't buy into any of that. No. You have to have a group or to do it. Forget it.
I agree. I've had more issues when I'm with somebody than when I was by myself.
Because inevitably, there's somebody in the group that is either a less inexperienced, or just plain dumb, that does something stupid.
Yes.
And then you as a group all have to deal with this. Whereas you were by yourself, you would never have done their dumb thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is my number one complaint with traveling in a group is whenever you get around a bunch of people, all of a sudden everybody gets all excited. Hey, I can go up that mountain. Can you go up that mountain? Well, I don't think that's a trail, boys.
Right.
I think that maybe you should rethink that a little bit. And they're doing it, and you're criticized as the killjoy for saying that looks like it's a bad idea. But then when they get stuck and you have to recover them,
it was a bad idea.
Yeah, it turns out it was a bad idea.
Yep.
I agree. There's also conflict in, I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say it. I'll come back to me on that one. But solo, I'm going to try and figure it out. Solo travelers, because you're a solo traveler, and if you've done it for any extended amount of time, you're pretty meticulous about upkeep of your rig and making sure that you have everything that you have. And it seems like every time I go with a bunch of people, half my stuff, I'm handing it to them to use because they done forgot a fork.
No fork, no cup, no tow rope. No, there's always something missing. Yeah. Everybody, because I think the mentality is somebody else will have it. I can just drive in there and show up, and somebody will have it. Hey, you got a fork? I need a cup. I need this.
We're looking for cups. Anybody got cups?
Yeah. Nobody's got a ratchet strap. Does anybody have this?
Lucky for me, Midland sponsors this podcast. Do you know how many times I have handed somebody a walkie-talkie and never got it back?
I know. Oh my God. Yeah.
At some point, Midland is going to get tired of me.
Right. Yep.
But I'm serious. I've handed so many people and it's like it costs more for you to ship it back than just keep it.
Yep. Yep.
Well, that's very generous of you. Do you have something I could borrow?
Well, that's the thing. When it's something you really like or expensive and you've handed it to somebody and you don't get it back, when they should have had that thing
in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And it'll be like something really basic. Like if you had written a list, this would have probably been 1 through 10. So
one of the negatives I could think is like, so what the three of us have shared a camp for the last couple nights. What's great about having other people and sharing stuff is, which is coming up soon, getting hungry. We go, hey, what are we having for food? And then everybody, disappears for 30 seconds to a minute and is rummaging through their refrigerator and, hey, how about this? I got cheese, you got a burger, I got this. How about some salad? That part is good. The camaraderie of being with people. And I will, to tag onto that, I solo travel, but maybe, and I would like to hear what you guys' thoughts are on this, but I tend to never be by myself. Maybe it's the nature of where I've gone and what I've been doing, but I'm like very often traveling with other groups or other people that I meet, or going into an event, or just meeting somebody at the, Baja was a good example of this. I was parked in a dry riverbed, and people would come by, and next thing you know, they camped nearby, and now I know them, and now we're having dinner.
Do you think that's because of the brightly colored truck you have?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, I do have to agree with you. We've been talking like we don't see people, but I interact with people. Yeah. People will follow me on the gram, and they're like, are you headed to such and such? Well, when you get there, let's do a trail, or let me feed you, or whatever. So there's absolutely a lot of socializing that I do on the road. Actually, I probably do more socializing on the road than when I'm at home. Because when I'm at home obeying. So
it's a small world, I guess. Who would have thought the three of us would be sitting here in Massachusetts right now?
We definitely didn't plan it.
There was no plan for that.
There was no plan.
No. And, and then the last time we all saw each other, we were on the opposite coast.
Yes.
So that's actually a benefit of solo, because if I had my crew of 6 rigs, I couldn't have brought them here to you to hang out, or even get them to all to agree to want to come.
Yeah.
Right.
But But you was like, hey, I'm here, and I was like, hey, I'll be there.
Yeah. I got a text from Phil. Incoming, be there in 2 hours. Whoa, I thought he was in Alaska.
Well, and I was in that emergency situation,
Yeah.
and I see him. He's posting that he's coming back into the country. I'm like, hey, I'm in Maine. You're coming into Vermont.
Yeah.
Let's maybe talk about, getting together, and what do you think about that? And then all of a sudden, we're all three getting together. And it's really, our community is so warming and welcoming. Yeah, we travel by ourselves, but I really appreciate you guys welcoming me to your campfire and now to this unexpected podcast episode. It's been fabulous, and you guys are just really great, but I really appreciate the community for this kind of camaraderie.
There's a lot of support. There's a lot of a support structure. People are very supportive. You can reach out online. I get messages all the time on my social media. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? Or I'm building this, or I'm going there. Have you ever been there? Stuff like that. So there's a lot of helpful people.
Mm-hmm.
People who are really part of the community. It's very social. People on the same page, very like-minded. If I know somebody's a traveler, I'm halfway there in my mind thinking that's a cool person.
Right.
We're going to be somewhere on the same page.
Yep. Yeah.
So let's talk about where we're going real quick from here. We're all going to Overland Expo.
Yep.
What are you looking forward to at Overland Expo East? For me, I'll start.
Yeah.
For me, it's just seeing people on the East Coast that I don't get to see unless I'm on the East Coast. And I enjoy the events. I no longer take the classes. I do the media thing. But I enjoy seeing companies with innovative things, truly innovate. There's people who just copy stuff, obviously. But then there's guys who are really, truly innovating. And I enjoy being there at the cusp of them starting out and beginning and being able to see them a year later or 2 years later and be like, yeah, I remember when Shower Pouch was some novelty. I remember when Expedition Overland had some raggedy tables and now they got this pavilion, So I like seeing the growth of people at the event. I like socializing with people, meeting new people. There are many people that I have interacted with and rendezvoused with in other corners of the world, other parts of the United States, that I met at Overland Expo. There are some people, we only see each other at Overland Expo. I have a friend, he knows who he is, one of the sponsors. We have a tradition at every Overland Expo, we have a meal before the event. So I have traditions that I have. I love it. And expos are an excuse for me to travel.
I always turn my little heading toward the expo into a little trip. So I look forward to seeing new things. And every time I'm like, hey, honey, I'm getting ready to go to expo, whatever it is. What am I going to see cool this time? I look at it and I try to figure out what am I going to see. But no, I love the people. The people are fantastic. The community is really amazing and warm. And I've never been part of a community like that before, where everybody is just so welcoming and so yeah, they're welcoming and friendly, and it's people from all walks of life. It's the diversity of personalities and people and rigs and everything. Just it's amazing to me, and I really enjoy the social aspect of it. Not for to be there and all of that, to party and whatever. No, it's not that. It's people are so interesting. I really enjoy just meeting the people and hearing about their story and about their travels and the who, what's, and whys.
I learned so much from not just the structured learning. Sometimes I'm just walking through the camp area and I'll see something and I'll ask a person a question and we'll have a conversation and I learn something new. It happens every time. It happens so often that newbies to the event, I always tell them, don't be shy. People want to talk about their rig. They want to talk about their travels. So if you got a question, if you're curious about something, just speak right up. And people love, like I said, they love to talk about it. So they're going to answer your question. They're probably going to give you more information than you ever wanted.
I find time to go and actually look at in the camping areas in Expo, because people, there's always somebody out there who's going to know more than you, and it's like, how'd you do that, and what's that, and can you show me that? Wow, what'd you do with this? Holy cow!
So with that, what did you think of the rigs in at the Pacific Northwest one? Because I was impressed.
They were different than some of the others that I've seen at the other expos. I think regionally, I think a lot of people, come together. So I think each expo has something regionally just a little bit different. Sometimes, sometimes. Everybody, there's a lot of Jeeps out there, and there's only so many products available. So there's a lot of things that you see a lot of. But then, like up in Oregon, we just saw some of the coolest stuff. And, it was just different.
Oregon was the most diverse.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I'm super excited to go to Overland Expo because, I've been fairly stationary the last 2 months. So it's like going back on the road. I'm excited. But the most important thing is us sitting here right now. This is what I go for. We all met at Overland Expo. That's how we met.
Yep.
So I go for the people. And it's like a reunion every event. You go see people, but every year, even more importantly than that, is you meet new people.
Yeah.
So and I really look forward to the wealth of information and the sharing of the information is where it's at.
I love seeing a person, it's their first expo. They're not even sure they're trying to figure this thing out.
Sometimes they're not even sure they're supposed to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love seeing their transformation, and maybe we exchange social media and then following them, and then they added a rack or whatever, and you see them, and then they go on their first trip, and then you see them at the next event, and then they're like,
and they're teaching.
Yeah.
and they're teaching.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
That's how it worked out for me.
That's how it worked out.
And for us, though, we're going to East. This is us coming full circle because that's where we met.
That's correct.
All of us
We
met.
actually did. We all met. You're right. I didn't think of that. We all met in the East.
Well, we knew each other before then. We've known each other since Vermont Overland.
I'm just referring to me.
Yep.
But right.
But we all came together at East. So yeah. This will be my third expo of the year. Did you do all of them?
Yeah, this will be my
year?
fourth.
Yeah, Phil and I.
And both of you will be teaching or instructing or something at East, right? So you look forward to that if you want to see these guys. Yep. And you also, are you in the do-it-yourself? Will you be showing off your rig this time?
That's a good question.
You don't know yet?
You just really don't know until we get there.
I will be. That's where I'm located in the showcase DIY area.
If you've ever seen his rig on social media and you'd like to get a more up-close look, he'll definitely be in the do-it-yourself. You can't miss his rig. It's the biggest orange thing in the whole place.
So that's what we got for today.
Well, no. Where are we going after Overland Expo?
We're going to get food.
East.
No, we're going to be at the gathering in Hendersonville, North Carolina. I believe that's the weekend following.
It's the following weekend.
And that's
hopefully I will have some information right here when people are watching it.
Right here. And then we'll part ways again, and then see each other all probably, who knows?
On the opposite coast.
So definitely be on the opposite coast.
Another time, another place.
We're going to the gathering. We'll be doing a couple of podcasts before a live audience there. The organizers of this event, you can look them up on Instagram, Staples Intense. So if you're curious about that, just Google Staples Intense or go to Instagram Staples Intense, and it'll tell you all about the event. And say hi if you come, because we'll be there.
That's right. Come see us.
We're good?
We're good.
All right. So in case someone didn't see the first podcast that we did where we interviewed you, and you told us everything about you, I'd advise you to watch it because it's a great story she has to tell. So if they didn't see that, how does someone find Candi Skehan?
It's Candi Skehan, and I'm on Instagram, Chicks Do It Too. I'm also on YouTube, same name, Candi Skehan. Chicks do it too.
That's Chicks Do It number 2.
Number 2.
Hopefully it'll be right here.
Right there.
All right, is that it for this podcast?
I think so, because now we're going to go enjoy some food and
Campfire.
Because it's getting a little cold out here up on the hill.
It's chilly, man.
All right, everybody, you know what I'm going to say. Stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully I'll see you here or on the trail soon.